I'm gonna entertain this, but that's quite literally because I have nothing better to do. Is this the mic? Yes. Thank you. So then, under several different aliases, suspect intentionally blocked allies resulting in death. Intentionally drove friendly vehicles from cliffs to their deaths, intentionally soiled chat with vile vernacular, and willfully behaved like a complete prick. Now that is quite a collection. So I've heard. Quite an incongruent collection, but we'll get to that later. See, I'm fairly accomplished in this field. Honoured at Harvard, best-selling book, currently writing what is likely to be another. Congratulations. Don't patronise me, I'm not boasting. I'm wanting to elicit your help. I see I have helpful law enforcement to thank for my current accommodation, so forgive me if I'm not enthused. Fair. I'm confused, Steve. As were law enforcement for quite a time. All these infractions popping up with an escalating degree of severity. There's nothing uncommon there, though it did prompt some urgency. And that escalation, juxtaposed with the official ineptitude, was certainly popular with the media. And law enforcement, they get tidbits, clues, slowly but surely, as they tend to do, they close the net. Talk to any one of them around that time, they'd have said, yeah, it's just a matter of time before we nail this guy. And then here comes you. Walks into a station, says, it was me. I did it. Shows some evidence, reveals privileged information that only the perpetrator would know. Case closed. I know. I was there. Yeah. Except this is what bothers me. This is a profile that I put together based on an analysis of the events up until you, of the individual that law enforcement should be looking for. I see. Yeah. Male, between the ages of 13 to 25, lonely, introverted, previous history of mental illness, overweight or obese, poor personal hygiene, under 6 foot, living either with parents or in supported living. Now, frankly, I can smell that guy from the pages. Quite a profile. How many did I hit? You're 5'8". Just the one, huh? Well, you do smell a bit shit. Now here, on the other hand, is the profile I wrote up on EU after watching your police interviews, which, by the way, fascinating, so thank you. Male, 40 years, married, 2 children, 1 male, 1 female, ages 15 and 19, stoic, centered, confident, no previous mental illness, physically fit, admirable grooming, honest. "40-year-old virgin." Fine. Oh no, what's going on? Don't have to bullshit me. Nah. You see my issue? That profile and this one are as antagonistic as you can get. You are not this. This is not you. This is a person who would do all of these things. You, I do not believe you would. Outwardly stoic, career-driven, insecure. I did not like that you were... Seems to me, Mr. Bestseller, you were just concerned that you may have been wrong. But I don't think that I am. Arrogant. Stoic, career-driven, insecure, and arrogant. How did I do? I'm good at motivations, Steve. Yeah, awfully touchy about your own image. This does not make sense. This person, this profile would not do these things. Which makes me think... Your heart is nice. That you're covering for someone else. and you they were closing in. It was just a matter of time, and you present at that exact time, knowing things that only the perpetrator or someone very closely involved would know. You have 2 children, yes? This is a voluntary conversation, isn't it? It is, yes. Interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. I believe we're done here. Yes, I believe we are. Steve. Yeah. You're a good person. Good luck with your book. This is a public service announcement. People are advised to be on the lookout for a platoon composed of a KV-5 and STRV-81. This platoon is believed to be armed and extremely brainless. Earlier today, the STRV was sighted prostrating himself side-on, blocking both lanes of traffic and preventing any travel towards Victory Village. Ironically, this did not seem to have any impact on the enemy team's ability to get to Victory Village. Scientists are still trying to work out how. Later, after the RMBT kindly offers a penis for them to suckle on and compares them to waste receptacles for semen, he finds his booty quite miraculously and violently violated as he's shoved straight out into the open. He gift wraps a few shells despite his circumstance and sends them on their way. And while he's fighting to cling on to his ever more mediocre and fragile life, the STRV goes ahead and blows up real quick. And then, out of nowhere, against anyone's expectation, the KV-5 dies of osteohydropillockism, which is where you're so much of a pillock that you die of pillockism by dying of drowning, because your pillockism has infected your bones and you've drowned in your own pillockness. This is a very common condition in M44s, something to do with the bloodline, I think. The dew lay heavier that day, and within the valley, the canyon cradled by Earth's lofty peaks, the battalions set about their business. To find the lone path that winds the ridge above the sky-blue lake, and to deny the assets of that path to anyone hosting an ill intent. So odd it was then that the very encounter they sought was born from an ally. 1 shell, chipped, grooved paintwork, 2 shells, dented, ringing armor, 3 shells, cracking, buckling rivets, 4 shells, agony, death, angry. Why was that done? What prior misdeed justified such an aggression? Such questions would be inspected, explored, deconstructed were it not for the duty. The very simple mission ahead. A mission imposed with difficulty by this rabid French spectacle. A man who it seems is using every fibre of his being in an attempt to constitute a burden, and who, in the end, his penultimate act, results in 3 vehicles stuck. And in the encumbrance in question finding himself a well-deserved watery grave. It does seem odd that such behaviour was prompted by seemingly nothing. No warning, no infraction, nor motive. Merely an individual who elected to attempt to ruin another's game because the fancy struck him. What a gimboid. And ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up this episode of Congratulations, You Are a Dick. If you're interested in seeing more, leave a like on the video, have a look at the playlist on the outro screen, and do have a wonderful day. Also, if you're interested in making positive health changes, then check out my fitness website, www.workoutways.co.uk. It's something I put a lot of effort into, and I think you get I shouldn't have caught this, but I'm not going to. Have a nice day.
You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but get smashed from half a globe away. But don't worry mate, he's sorry eh. You could have known though, it's all the same story eh. You better not berate him, he is living in the country next to the US with oil fields.